Alright, I'm home. I missed you guys, and I just wanted to say,
Hello, start this gangsta shit. Mr. Motherfucker, thanks I get. Hello, I started this gangsta
hey, how are you? Alright, welcome. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. Great to be back with you. I am a comic book artist with 25 years experience in the business. I am the creator of Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the Smash Indiegogo hit campaign that's entering its last day of funding today. If you'd like to buy a copy of Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the link is below in the description. I am the illustrator of Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, and I'm a great big Star Wars fan. It's great to be home in my office again, in my studio, my beautiful studio. I didn't like doing live streams from hotel rooms, but I'll do what I do. I have to stay in touch with you guys. Now we can do real videos again, and it's a good thing, because while I was away, I got a weird Twitter notification. Rian Johnson has replied to you. I was like, what the hell? I didn't say anything to Rian Johnson. Or maybe I did. I don't know. Did I say anything? I might have. I might have tweeted drunk at Rian Johnson one or two times, but yeah, that was might have been days ago. Even still, synchronic design. Synchronic. I like that better. Synchronic design. Somebody I don't know tweeted this out. I guess he's a fan of the show because he tweeted to Pablo Hidalgo, "Where did your balls go?" He tagged me, Ethan Van Sciver. N-E-R-D, don't know who that is. N-E-R-D. Nerd. Oh, I get it, nerd. Dash Star Wars. I don't know who that is either. And then there's Alex Becker Tech. This is the billionaire YouTube personality who tells me that I should put ads behind my videos, not in front of them. Will do. I'd like to own a Lamborghini too. The difference between Rian Johnson and George Lucas is this, and this is a nice interview that was done maybe in the early 80s. I'm not really sure, but it's Lawrence Kasdan, the father, not the idiot son, who seems to have a sexual appetite for robots. This is Lawrence Kasdan, the great man who wrote Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and let Lucasfilm down by allowing his son to write Soilo, a Soil War story, thereby costing the studio probably the $80 million. Well, he contributed to the $80 million loss of the very first Star Wars movie to ever bomb in the theaters and lose money. Lawrence Kasdan has an idea. He says, "I think you should kill Luke and have Leia take over." Yeah, it's a genius idea. Lucas says, "You don't want to kill Luke." Kasdan says, "Okay, then kill Yoda." What's with Lawrence Kasdan and this bloodlust? Why does he want to kill everybody? Okay, then kill C-3PO. Okay, then blow up the Millennial Falcon. Okay, then. All right, who can we kill? Lucas, a hippie, says, "I don't want to kill Yoda. I don't want to kill him." You don't have to kill people, Lawrence. He's actually talking to a serial killer here. He's talking to the son of Sam. He's talking to the Zodiac killer. You don't have to kill people. You're a product of the 1980s. No, he is. He's talking to the son of Sam. Zodiac killer was a product of the 1960s, I think. And yeah, you don't go around killing people. It's not nice. I think you alienate the audience. Yeah, if only. That's actually good advice. There's so many people so many killers I would like to tell this. You're gonna alienate your audience if you just go around killing people. It's not nice. You're a product of the 1980s. These 80s people, I'm sick of it. These Gen Xers. Kasdan says, or a boomer, I guess he's a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer. Kasdan says, "I'm saying that the movie has more emotional weight if someone you love is lost along the way. The journey has more impact." Well, that is true, and that is kind of what George Lucas did. I mean, we had gotten to love Obi-Wan Kenobi. We didn't yet realize that he was a damn liar. We didn't know that yet. We didn't know he was Ewan McGregor. We had no idea. So we still liked him, and then we saw him cut down. And when he was cut down, it looked like a bathrobe that fell off a hook. And that was even more emotionally charged. It was strange. That confused me as a child. I didn't understand that at all. It made me wonder if he was actually dead. And indeed, you struck him down, and you made him stronger than ever before, but naked. His robe just stayed there on the ground. I'm always stronger when I'm naked. You better believe it. Lucas says, "I don't like that. I like Lucas. Hippie Lucas, George Lucas the hippie. He is going to, with two fingers like this. This is how he's going to chastise. I don't like that. Like that. That's a good way to chastise people. Now try pointing. This is the finger of scorn. I don't like that. Okay, that's different. This, I don't like that. Is more effective. It's more powerful. It's two fingers of scorn. Okay, it's the double-barreled finger of scorn. So that is what George Lucas is doing here. He is. I don't like that, and I don't believe that. I love George Lucas. I have always hated that in movies. When you go along and one of the main characters gets killed, this is a fairy tale. You want everyone to live happily ever after, and nothing bad to happen to anyone. I think he was high, honestly. I think he was high when he said this. The whole emotion I'm trying to get at the end of the film is for you to be real uplifted, man. Real gone, dude. No, not dude. Man. I want you to be like real uplifted, man. Little beatnik. Little proto-hippie there. Emotionally and spiritually, and feel absolutely good about life. Yeah. George, we do. We feel absolutely good about life. And that is one thing that I can say about your original trilogy. It did make me feel pretty good about life. At no point did any of the deaths that happened in the movie take me out of the movie and make me feel cynical or angry. For some reason, George Lucas allowed us to say goodbye to our friends in a way that actually made us love them more, and made us somehow feel joy and respect in the way these people had lived their lives so bravely. And we'll see that Rian Johnson has no effing idea what he's talking about, what George Lucas is referring to in his triggered, pants crapping response to this little snippet of interview. George Lucas is on a higher plane. I mean, he really is. Sitting there, legs crossed, he's in the lotus position. He is taking in all the positive energy of the universe through a bong, I think. And he knows how to make people feel love, even through sorrow, even through pain, even through trial and hard times. At the end of the movie, at the end of the trilogy, well, at the end of each movie, there's a moment where we all smile, isn't there? Even in Empire Strikes Back, there's a moment of warmth and regrouping and compassion and love and hope. At the end of A New Hope and at the end of Return of the Jedi, we're outright beaming with joy. We're smiling. We're happy. And that is the magic of George Lucas and the terror of Rian Johnson, the confused man-baby response here. He says, he reads George Lucas's lines. He reads George Lucas's interview, and he goes, "Huh." And here's Roundhead. Here's a cantaloupe. Here's this human cantaloupe. He's gonna argue with George Lucas now, huh? Is that right, George? Is that what you did? You didn't kill anyone along the way. You made us feel joy. Well, what about the crispy critters? What about Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru? Which one's Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru? Can you tell? I can't tell. Is it the laser? Did blasters do this? Or were they probably set on fire, right? They were just set on fire. Yeah. Fire them. I mean, they were set on fire. Yeah. This isn't at all what I want to happen to people at Lucasfilm. I don't. When I say, fire them, cleansing fire, I don't mean this. Not by any means. I just mean out of a trebuchet into a brick wall. This is not what I want to happen. I want to just clarify that. But yeah, this was sad. Did this take you out of the movie? Did this make you feel like Luke was less of a hero? That our movie was poisonous in any way? That no, this is just this was a way of moving Luke out of his comfort zone. He had to move on now. He had to move on. You can't go home anymore. When your parental figures have been reduced to crispy critters like this, it's time to move on. There's no home to go back to. It was actually kind of the coming of age moment in A New Hope. This is the thing. This is where I really want this to happen. I want to be struck down and have my bathrobe removed. Like, hit me with a lightsaber, my bathrobe falls to the floor, and then I'm just standing there naked. Like, hey, more powerful than ever, stronger than ever before. This was a shocking moment as a kid, like I said. But again, he had already lived out his. We didn't know he was Ewan McGregor. We didn't understand that he was Ewan McGregor, but he turned out to be Ewan McGregor. He lived out his life as a hero, and the story was always going to be not about Obi-Wan Kenobi, but about Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker. It was the Skywalker saga. This was a character who brought this man to where he was inadvertently, and then brought along his son, intentionally, to handle the sins of the father. His purpose, his role had been served, and that was a sad moment, but it was an effective moment. Here we have Luke Skywalker in yet another castration moment involving his lightsaber. This was a terrible scene, but it was a powerful scene. This was not it wasn't tragic. It was just like, this is the severity of the moment. Young boy, you are going to stand up with your phallic symbol aimed at the man who you're about to find out is your father. And he is going to, being who he is going to castrate you. And that is what happened here. This is, the lightsaber always seems to represent, penis. This is penislessness right here. And again, we see the same thing happen in Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi, where instead of reclaiming his manhood when Rey hands it to him, he throws it over his shoulder. He's quite content to be a man baby, a whining, whinging, sarcastic man baby, just like Rian Johnson is. Rian Johnson has projected himself into the role of Luke Skywalker. This was a pivotal moment, but again, this wasn't. This didn't take you out of the film at all. This was just, oh my God, this is the seriousness of this moment. But he's going to be fun. He's probably going to be fun. Indeed, he was. And then this is, that Rian Johnson would bring up this moment is very odd indeed. Yoda died a very peaceful death after 800 years. Was it 800 or 900? I can't remember. And that was a good moment. That was a calming moment, actually. It was sad and sweet, and not at all horrible and horrific. Not at all did it destroy Yoda's character. In fact, it was a life well lived, and everybody respected this little guy, who apparently is the offspring of Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. Did you realize that? That is where his whole look came from. They decided to make him the offspring of Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. And now that I know that, I don't think my life is ever going to be the same. So that is Rian Johnson's rebuttal to the idea that this is a fairy tale and that he hurt people with The Last Jedi. And he did hurt people with The Last Jedi, but he's going to argue about it. He made the most divisive, despised movie in the Star Wars canon, and he is still going to yell at, mock, scorn, belittle fans. Not so easy this time. This time we all came out in force, including me, including your Uncle Ethan. I had to smack this guy around a little bit, just a little. I'm not going to get into it too much with Rian Johnson, but I was the first. Here's and then me. So I'm gonna now. Thank you. I'm sure you circular. You circular skull clown. Now I am getting all of your mail. So I guess that's justice, right? Good, you got me. Getting all this feedback from. I'm hearing everything Rian Johnson's hearing. So I have a good sense of what's going on. Now, has it brought me to my knees? No, of course not. It's just bored and annoyed me. It has, however, brought Rian Johnson to his knees. He has now issued an apology, but of course, it's couched again in defensiveness. And this is, after all, I mean, this movie is all about Rian Johnson. He says that here when he admits that the movie reflects problems that he has with his father. So this is all information that I didn't want to know. Star Wars Solo flop, Rian Johnson trilogy dropped by Disney. You better believe it. Okay. Star Wars The Last Jedi backlash. Rian Johnson says sorry to fans amid Episode 9 fears, and everyone is afraid of how Episode 9. Are we afraid? I know we're not afraid. We don't care. We don't care. Nobody cares anymore. I mean, it's like the movie. I think like the trilogy's ruined. The only way to fix it is to say that it never happened. They're not going to do that. That is a fantasy that many people are sharing. That Disney will say, you know what, it was all a dream. It was all a dream. No, it wasn't a dream. It did happen. It is our nightmare. Rian Johnson inflicted it on us, and here he is to kind of offer an apology. So let's read this. The last 6 months have witnessed a running battle between furious fans and Lucasfilm figures Johnson and Kennedy. There's no. That's not a coincidence. By the way, Kennedy Johnson. That's the 1960 successful presidential ticket, and I'm absolutely positive. Well, no, I'm just guessing. That Kathleen Kennedy is keeping Rian Johnson around a little bit because of that. A little bit because that is kind of, that massages her ego a little bit. She thinks that's cute. Kennedy Johnson. A vocal part of the fandom is calling for Kennedy's dismissal, while the director has been nicknamed Ruin Johnson. I love it. I love you guys so much. Most fans were primarily upset over the treatment of Luke Skywalker and other legacy elements of the original trilogy. Most, that is correct. So far, this article is dead on accurate. Most fans, that is, we are the majority of fans. We're not a vocal minority, Ryan. Ruin. We are the majority. The majority of Star Wars fans hate your movie and are upset over it. Lucasfilm figures, again, including Force Awakens director J.J. Abrams, have often implied that fan protests are rooted in misogyny, bigotry, and in general, an inability to embrace or understand change and modern liberal values. Boy, I like this article a lot. This is express.co.uk. It is on my garbage tier site, or my garbage tier list. But I like this. This is terrific. These SJWs, like J.J. Abrams, and J.J. Abrams is a big SJW. He just happens to be more talented than Rian Johnson. That doesn't mean much. He will immediately, this is what SJWs do. You don't like our propaganda? It's because you're a misogynist. You don't like us inserting our ideology into your entertainment, which we force you to pay for if you want to see the next Star Wars movie? You're a bigot. You don't like the fact that we made Lando Calrissian pansexual droidker, and that we made Luke Skywalker a nipple-sucking baby who has abandoned his family and friends and his responsibilities and duties to the, I'll say the resistance. I mean the rebellion, but I'll say the resistance. I'll go along with your stupid anti-Trump nonsense. And is hiding away on an island, throwing away his lightsaber when presented to him. Then you have an inability to embrace or understand the change that we are inflicting on you. Why are you unable to embrace the change that's based in our modern liberal, quote-unquote, meaning progressive, far left-wing, social justice warrior anti-values? We do not value you. We value our identity politics. We value this diversity in exchange for actual storytelling. These are our values. We don't understand why you do not embrace or understand the changes that we are making in the entertainment that you are used to paying for as a means of escapism. Why don't you understand that? Misogynist, bigot. This is SJW speak, and it's unwelcome, to say the least. It certainly hasn't helped repair the rift, or perhaps entice back fans who publicly boycotted Soylo, a Soy Wars story, and have taken credit for its monumental box office failure. We did it! We do take credit for that. You're welcome. There are legitimate fears this backlash could continue to grow and harm the release of Episode 9. You better believe it. We are growing. We just ran past 66,000 subscribers. I'm just one little channel. I'm just one humble ink frog and a t-shirt merchant. That's all I am. I'm an ink frog and t-shirt merchant. And yet, I do speak to upwards of 66,000 people when I talk about Star Wars. That makes me a legitimate threat. Disney, you better take me out. Oh my God, incoming missiles. And we will. We will harm the release of episode. Of course we will. We're going to harm the release of Episode 9. That's what we have to do here until they make a change. Johnson responded to a tweet this week which said, "My main gripes are that you abandon the spirit and heart of Star Wars in favor of your own ideas, opinions, and mindset. This is an SJW thing right here. This is what they do. And this tweet is quite right. SJWs are incapable when they're being creative. When they're trying to create. When you give them characters and intellectual properties that have existed long before their time as creators, they immediately insert their own frailties, their own prejudices, and their own weaknesses onto these characters. They just write themselves into the role. That is what Rian Johnson did. Rather than continuing a 40-year legacy, Rian Johnson made Luke Skywalker into a sarcastic, snide, lazy, timid, angry, little bearded loser living on an island somewhere, not being a hero, not launching our imagination into the stratosphere. At no point are we like, and this is what we wanted to do. I mean, this is how we wanted to feel, Ryan. We wanted to see Luke Skywalker again and say, yes, thank God they found Luke. Now we can solve this problem. Now we can really give it to these guys. Now we can fight, and we can fight for freedom and justice again. We can, yes, Luke Skywalker's back, and he's old man Luke, and it's great to see him. No, that's not what you made us feel. It was a little like knocking on your door at 3 p.m. And giving you a pizza. That was basically that was how it felt to see Luke Skywalker again, and we hated it. We hate you. Skywalker and the rest of almost everything in the film subverted all that was. The director defended his choices, but even then, commenters were not satisfied. Why would we be satisfied with anything Rian Johnson ever had to say? He wrote, quote, "For me, The Last Jedi 100% distills what the spirit and heart of Star Wars has been in my life." Okay, that might be true. And that is why there needs to be a better vetting process for who gets to be the heart and soul of Star Wars when carried forward. You cannot hand this over to someone who is a social justice warrior. They do not understand what heroism and personal sacrifice is. They understand what sniveling sarcasm is. And that's it. They understand selfishness. They do not understand self-sacrifice. They don't understand heroism. They think they do. They will tell you, Jesus Christ was an SJW. No, he wasn't. Jesus Christ never doxed anyone, and he never ruined Star Wars. What else? Jesus Christ never ruined Star Wars. Say what you will. He never ruined Star Wars. He was no social justice warrior. Jesus Christ did not infiltrate the gaming industry and sleep around with a bunch of game reporters. Jesus Christ did not ruin comic books. Jesus Christ, he didn't. As far as I know, Jesus Christ probably helped make a lot of really good comics. He didn't come in there and start telling people that there needed to be more weird diversity. Jesus Christ at no point, as far as I know, at no point made Thor into a woman. Did he? No, he didn't. He didn't do that. But that's what they do. They don't understand. So this is all personal. This is all personal to Rian Johnson. From a certain point of view, it has to be. Originals were personal for George Lucas. That's why they're alive. And the problem is George Lucas is someone that we trust and love. You are not. I'm sure that Hitler had a certain point. I'm not comparing Rian Johnson to Hitler. I'm just saying. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm not. Everyone has a certain point of view. But if your heart and soul, if your spirit, if your worldview does not align with George Lucas's, then you're going to make a very different product than George Lucas. This person shouldn't have been ever allowed to touch the character, the heart and soul of Luke Skywalker. He never should have been allowed to. I would say J.J. Abrams probably shouldn't have been allowed to either, at all. And these guys ruined Star Wars. It's unbelievable. Star Wars films will truly betray the heart and spirit of the originals if they lose that and become soulless, clean homages. But being alive means being messy. No, it does. Clean up, clean your room, make your bed, and it means every film won't line up exactly with what every fan is expecting or wants. It's always people that make bad product that say that. I can't please everyone. SJWs always say can't please everyone. Don't buy it. You don't like it, don't buy it. But here we have a little apology here. I'm sorry. The Last Jedi didn't line up with your own certain point of view. Really, honestly, I am. That is not a real apology. I'm sorry The Last Jedi didn't line up with your own certain point of view. Really, honestly, I am. No, it didn't line up with the characters. It didn't line up with the story, with the spirit of Star Wars. You had a perverted view of what Star Wars was, of who Luke Skywalker is. You have a perverted view of who Princess Leia is. You have a perverted idea of what Star Wars in general is. And that is why you made a terrible movie. One fan was quick to reply, so you didn't make a movie for Disney or Star Wars fans, you made your own personal movie. Well, that was selfish, and amen. I would underline that, and that would be the end. Another added, this kind of thinking will leave Rian Johnson without a job soon. Believe me, it will. But Johnson also has his defenders. I don't want to read what they say. In the end, only one creative... In the end, the only thing any creative can do is make a work that they personally feel deeply connected with. No. It is a rare movie that works for almost everyone. No, I'm glad you were able to make a film that you're proud of, Ryan. I'm not glad. I'm not glad that he was able to make a movie that he is proud of because he's a dick. And I don't want somebody who is a dick to make a Star Wars movie. You can see it all over his Twitter timeline. He's a very selfish, sarcastic little man who wanted to stick it. He continually wants to stick it to his enemies. That is why he felt the need to argue with the original poster who quoted George Lucas. He actually wanted to argue with George Lucas. This is a very bitter, small man. He's an SJW, and God willing, and I believe it already, I believe there is a God. I believe God is already making this happen. He will not make a trilogy. His trilogy is over. It's not going to happen. We're going to move on to Disney Star Wars 2.0. I think that is going to happen this year or next. And probably post Episode 9, when Episode 9 is a miserable failure. What is a miserable failure? Episode 9 has to make less than The Last Jedi. It's going to make more than Solo because, I mean, you could fall out of bed and make more money than Solo did. I mean, that less than $400 million when Rogue One made over $1 billion. This movie made less than $400 million. That is a disaster. All we have to do with Episode 9 is see to it that it makes less than 1.02 billion, which is what The Last Jedi made. It has to make under $1 billion. I'll bet it will. I'll bet it'll make 800 million, and that will signal the end of Kathleen Kennedy's disastrous reign over Star Wars, in which she hired people who personally made her feel comfortable, fired people who made her feel uncomfortable, resulting in some terrible movies that have tarnished the legacy of Star Wars forever, divided fandom, left toys unsold on shelves, put major toy dealers like Toys R Us out of business forever, and in general left everyone feeling kind of gross. So the end can't come quickly enough, and you're not half as sorry as we are, Ryan. Well, my goodness, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thanks to my subscribers. We've just passed 66,000 subscribers. We're at order 66,000. And thank you to my Patreon backers. Thank you. These are your names scrolling at the screen right now. We appreciate and love everyone. Thank you to people who do my live streams and donate super chats. You guys are amazing. Are you subscribed? Are you subscribed to this channel? Why not subscribe now? Thanks to everyone who gives a thumbs up on this video. Thanks to people who buy t-shirts and hats and posters. Those are all available in the link below. And thank you to everyone who has supported Cyberpunk 11 who broken records. It's the highest selling Indiegogo campaign comic of all time, and that's all down to you guys. I can't thank you enough. Love you. See you again soon. Show your friends you support independent comics while showing the world who you back in the fight against the swarm with the brand new Cyberfrog t-shirt from Crypto Fashion and Comic Artist Pro Secret. Sizes come in small to 5XL, and take your choice of colors between navy blue, white, and black.
And if you haven't yet, go ahead and order the Fandom Menace, Go Get Daddy's Belt, Tico, and Soilo t-shirts as well. Link is below in the description. You're going to look great. People love these shirts. They fit wonderfully. Thank you very much. Hello, potential Indiegogo backers. Hello, friends. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a comic book creator who worked for 20 years for Marvel and DC Comics on books like Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, and X-Men. But before that, I had a comic book called Cyberfrog. Now, Cyberfrog lasted from 1993 to 1998, and then it stopped when I went to go work for DC Comics. Now I want to tell the story of where Cyberfrog has been for the last 20 years. I want to write, pencil, ink a book called Cyberfrog Blood Honey that tells the story of gigantic alien hornets that come to Earth and conquer it, sending Cyberfrog into deep hibernation, where he emerges now in the year 2018 into a completely alternate reality, a new world where these hornets have taken over, devastated humanity, using human skin to make gigantic wasp hives, and harvesting human blood to make honey to feed their young. Very few humans still exist. But it's up to Cyberfrog to save what's left of humanity and turn back the damage that's been done by these wasps with his brother Salamandroid and his friend Heather Swain. I want you to help me do this. We're going to get colors by Kyle Ritter. He's a fantastic colorist, and he's going to make this book sing. I'd like this to be a 48-page one-shot prestige format, part 1 of 4. So I'm asking you to help me launch the very first Cyberfrog Blood Honey epic graphic novel. Are you in? Will you help me? I hope so. Let's get this frog jumping again. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there.